pretty quickly.
Yep, you do. And we are live. And I think because of the new way that Google Hangouts goes live, there's no opportunity for this anymore. But it is Casual Friday here, as you can see, at the school.
Oh, I wore a dress. I'm sorry.
What?
I wore a dress. I'm sorry. In jeans with the dog.
So let's check the notifications and see if anybody's having trouble. It seems like everybody's fine this week getting in.
Yeah, it was easy.
Great this week. NP, no problem.
Awesome.
On a winning streak.
Yeah, don't drink it.
Makes up for that horrible one.
Ugh,
That half the hangout was trying to get people in.
Okay. Oh, God, I work hard.
Well, Ralphie looked good this morning.
What?
Ralphie looked good this morning.
Isn't that great? That's what I wake up to every day.
And
That's why the last 2 days I woke up and just took pictures of him, because that was me laying in bed, and that's what I look at when I open my eyes. I just see Ralphie sitting right there. And he does. He sits there right next to me, like licks his paws, and it's like he's waiting for me to wake up.
My dog is laid out. I'm like, are you getting up? And she'll open her eye and go, I need to go out, but it's too far, and she goes back to sleep. I mean, she is so me. That's my daughter. That's my fur daughter.
Right, and then I have Hercules, who's the other little guy, the one with the black coat, and he's just like a little firecracker. So as soon as somebody goes by for the first time in the morning walking their dog, it's on, and he runs around and jumps on everything. He's like a little jumping bean, barking.
Time to go outside. Time to go outside.
Yep, and these dogs have no concept of boundaries. He'll just, I could be fast asleep, he'll come running up and he'll just jump on top of me. Like, come on, it's time to wake up.
And Tina just got a new member of her family.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a big whopping 11 pounds right now, and he's only a year.
Wow. Wow.
What is he,
Got some
tiger
food
stripe?
in him?
I'm sorry?
Tiger stripe?
Yeah, tiger stripe. Sammy wanted a striped cat. She went from wanting an orange tabby striped one to, we were surfing the internet on all the rescue sites, and she saw him, which his name is Rufus.
Love it.
I actually kind of like, but she wanted to call him Tiger Stripe, and she fell in love with him. So we went and visited him yesterday, and there were about 40 other cats there that we took a look at, and she liked Rufus, so we brought Rufus home.
Nice. Nice.
So he's now Tiger Stripe, yes.
I've been taking a lot of trips to my local shelters because we're looking at bringing in a cat and a dog.
Ooh,
at the
a
same time.
two-foot.
Yeah, so we're kind of excited about that.
And why did you decide on one of each?
Well, because we've always, when my kids were little, we had a dog, and then when he passed away, we got 2 kittens for them 1 year, and they lasted. My one cat I just had to put to sleep the day after Christmas. So she was like 16 years old. So now we've been without any pet, and we always said that if we got, pets, we're either going to get 2 more cats or we'll get a dog and a cat. And we're all kind of pushing to get one of each and bring them up together. So
nice.
Yeah, we just haven't decided what kind yet. I don't know. We're still looking around and doing research on, breeds and all that kind of fun stuff. So.
Just get a rescue. It's better.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we're getting a rescue, but we just want to make sure we're getting the right.
Oh, I see.
The right combination. Dogs.
One of the local rescues really wants me to be a foster home, and since I'm here all day, it seems silly. I don't want to commit to a second dog because we're in hurricane area, and when it's time to evacuate, you've got the office and the house and the dog and humans, and I don't want to have more than one animal. And but maybe fostering. My husband's a little nervous about new carpet and.
Yeah, but it's hard to give them back when you foster. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cute the other day. One of the local rescues in my area they're in a joint venture with another rescue down in Texas. I guess for some reason there's this huge need to be able to get these Texas dogs to other rescues because they're just overpopulated. And so tomorrow they're bringing in 50 more dogs. They took a trip. They're all ready. They've been fostered. And the cute part about it was the post on Facebook, there was all the people that were fostering the dogs. They showed like a big, huge picture, like with rows of all the different dogs. And all the foster families are like, oh, here, Jake is third from the bottom, and he's so sweet. And they were giving everybody just some great information on, you know, each of the dogs. So it was kind of exciting, and I'm like, I found like 3 or 4 of them there just from that picture that I'm interested in looking at, so we're going to go out there tomorrow and take a look at them.
You know what I found? That, and then there's some New York ones that have come down into Georgia to get trucks full of dogs. I think the spay and neutering is better up north.
Yeah.
And we're overrun, you know, down south on you know, so many dogs, and so they tend to be shipped up.
Yeah, they're really strict around here. I mean, from what I can understand, they bring in a rescue, and you know, they rehabilitate them. They make sure that medically they're up to date, that they're healthy. They get all their shots. They spade or neuter them if they're not already. They automatically do that, and you know, they make sure they're ready to go into homes and that they're not, you know.
Our local dog catchers, they have a program with the local prison, and they are having the prisoners train the dogs, which is helping the prisoners.
That's excellent.
Bond and give them a skill and everything. And then the dogs, when you adopt them, they already know their commands. I mean,
nice. Yeah. That's a great program.
Right there. So.
Yeah, that's what's hard about bringing a dog or a new cat into your home, the potty training part, especially if they're real young.
Yeah, that's why I like older rescues.
Or scared. They could, I mean, or I was thinking about doing maybe the hospice, the older dogs that, you know, give them a chance. They don't last very long, but
yeah, I did one of those.
And
I did one of those. I rescued a 16-year-old. Actually, he was a 10-year-old, and he lived to 16, and it was hard.
You really have to be prepared to give when it's an older dog like that. Yeah. Lots of patience.
Lots of vet bills.
Lots of vet bills. Yeah.
I follow a couple gals on Facebook that do this, and it's amazing. I mean, you think, why didn't they just immediately put this dog down? The poor thing that has suffered its whole life, and then she'll take it and watch it bloom, and then it, you know, it dies happy. So.
Yep.
Right. Hi, Scott. We're not talking about QuickBooks. We're just talking about rescue dogs.
Yeah.
Talking about dogs.
I was just going to say, what I love how many animal lovers we have in our little community.
That is true.
And there's a lot. I'm almost I don't know if I should say I'm surprised or not. I guess I don't normally expect there to be that many animal lovers out there. I mean, before I had pets, and it was the direct influence of my wife, you know, I just didn't think that much about it. But now, because I've had pets and I've become so passionate about them, I mean, I love them probably more than most people that I know. And I'm so impressed to see how many other people, especially in our accounting community, because I can't really draw any direct correlation between accountants and why so many of us seem to have and love our pets. Maybe because we've all got good hearts. Maybe I'd like to think that's the case.
I have to say that I know, you know, since I started my business and going, you know, I was, you know, going out to clients a lot, and there are so many of my clients that have dogs, you know, and pets and stuff, and it just, you know, whenever they come in, it's like they're all nervous. Oh, I have a dog. I hope you're not. And I'm like, oh no, I love dogs, and you know, and sometimes the dog will be on my lap, you know, while we're doing training and stuff, and I'm like that, and they love that because they're not worried about, you know, anybody being skittish or having to shut the dog up, or, you know, it's just, so for me, that's how I get, you know, being able to see so many different types of dogs that are out there.
You know, it's funny. I just thought of something also. That, you know, Dennis, before we went live, Dennis brought up the question of, you know, like when it's time to, you know, part company with a client. And I was telling you guys that as of this week, Monday was my last day after, parting company with one particular client. And, I should have thought of this a long time ago. I should have seen the writing on the wall. This particular client, it was clear, does not like pets, doesn't like animals.
There you go.
So that needs to be in the client questionnaire.
Yep, so that should be part of the client intake questionnaire. And if they don't like pets, sorry, I can't take you on as a client.
I'm going to add that.
That's one of the criteria. That should be one of the. See, look at my shirt today.
Yeah.
What up, dog?
For mine, it'll be, do you like animals and do you wear tie-dye? That would be part of my questionnaire.
Just wait, and you might get some freaky people there, like telling you where they wear the tie-dye.
That's all right.
Fun.
We did have a topic planned today, other than pets and animals and rescues, which I would love to spend the whole hour talking about that. And Ralphie just came up. He must have heard us. Yeah. Hey, Ralphie. We do have a topic for today. I mentioned it last week, and as usual, I did not get any time to do any kind of promotions about it and letting people know, but I have a feeling Sarah will thank me for that.
I'm still practicing my demoing skills.
So today we're going to look at Sarah's trial balance exporter. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Sarah. I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to start you off with one basic question, which I'm assuming your demonstration is going to answer for us anyway.
Okay.
But the question of the day is, why do I need the trial balance exporter? How is it going to help me?
And that is how I'm going to start. Well, I think this time when I do my demo, I'm going to dive right into QuickBooks and then show you the limitations. And, all right, so let me find my mouse. All right, so I have...
And very quickly, while you're doing that, by the way, I want everybody to see my coffee mug. I got this from Intuit.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Qualified and caffeinated.
I have clients that offer me coffee. It's like, oh, the more coffee you have, the quicker and the better work you'll do.
Or you'll be so wired on caffeine that you'll make 10 tons of mistakes. All right, Sarah, back to you. No more segues. Hey,
right, what did we get? Right, I have set up an Excel file and a PDF file on my website that shows basically the information in QuickBooks and how it lands in TBX. And I used QuickBooks 2013, so now I need to be able to see what you see. Okay, can you see this? I was trying to think, does it go bigger? Anyway, before I go any further, and I'm new to this, how do I get rid? I need to get rid of this.
Oh, view, open window list.
Top.
There we go.
And then can I close this or no?
Can you drag it? Can you drag the edge of
home
it?
Screen, unless you're going to use the home screen to browse to it, but it's in the. I think it's in the view options also, where you can choose to not show that. Either that or it's in the preference. It's in the preferences, actually.
Well, QuickBooks lesson. That's okay. For the benefit of people who are not familiar with QuickBooks, what I've done is I wanted to show, I want to show, we all know what a trial balance is, balance sheet and P&L. And if I can't get the trial balance the way I want it, we'd have to cobble together those two reports to get the information that we need. So I wanted to show you I went to reports, company and financial, a balance sheet comparison, and in the sample data I said last year. So I have that open here somewhere. Stick. Thank you. Okay. Now, I just feel like it's too small, especially for Tina.
Yeah, it looks like only part of the screen is...
Well, but when I was playing with it this morning, it actually got bigger when I played. Okay. All right. So on a normal... What in the world? What's new? Okay. A normal trial balance would be as of December 31st, 16, correct? And sometimes we want the change during a period that QuickBooks cannot provide. So let me show you what QuickBooks does provide. Reports, accountant and taxes, trial balance for last year. Okay, this is right out of the box trial balance. Checking's $36,000 on December 31st. Okay, P&L accounts would be for the year ended, if your fiscal year end was December 31st. That would be 12 months worth of P&L activity. So when you export to Excel, there's a couple problems. Oh, I think I had one open. I'm clicking on my screen share, not the
actual program.
Okay. What's the little shortcut to make it bigger? Something plus? Control plus? Come on, Seth.
Actually, no, Sarah, bottom right of your screen, there should be a Zoom thing for this.
I know. Zoom. Well, I've got a.
Or just highlight the whole spreadsheet and make the fonts all bigger. So press Control A.
Yeah. Control A.
Control A again.
Here, I'm just going to go View.
There you go. That's the Zoom.
200. Okay. Whoa. Okay. QuickBooks, right out of the box, will export a trial balance, but it embeds the account number with the name with a dot in the center. It also does debits in one column and credits in another. Some people have requested that if you're working with data, that they want the trial balance in one column. So I wanted a utility that did that. They wanted the account number busted out from the name. I've also added the description. And I needed to have a utility that would give me the net change for a period, not as of, or it's a choice. So that is the limitation of QuickBooks. Now, some people will call and say, well, I can get a QuickBooks by class code, or a trial balance by class code. Well, watch this. We're in balance in this situation. I can go customize report. You notice there's no column. I can't add any additional columns. I can do a filter. I can do a class. All classes will give me the same thing. If I say just overhead, sure, it gives me just overhead, and the trial balance is out of balance because of the limitations on the balance sheet. Depending on how the user's been using the balance sheet, not everything running through the balance sheet has been classified. So it simply just gives it to you out of balance, and you have no clue which class has been filtered on this report. So minimize that, and then let me go to my little PDF here. So what I did was years ago, I was mainly compilation and write-up. And I used a write-up package, Creative Solutions, and I had all my fancy financial statements formatted in Creative Solutions. And in those days, people were either handwriting their checks or were starting to use Quicken. They sent us check registers. But as time went on, more and more clients were wanting to do their own day-to-day bookkeeping. So I actually hired some bookkeepers. So I had accountants that were doing write-up, and I had bookkeepers doing bookkeeping. And we're starting to learn QuickBooks, and clients are starting to take on QuickBooks. And I realized we're reinventing the wheel, because a general ledger to me is a general ledger. It's a list of accounts, buckets of information that produce financial statements. So when I would review Creative Solutions, I would get frustrated because I had to open and close periods and edit, and it was a pain. And I'd flip into QuickBooks, and I could zoom and edit, and I was loving QuickBooks more and more. So the other reason is that I decided to drop Creative Solutions was clients would call for a support call and need help with QuickBooks, and my accountants didn't know anything about a QuickBooks, and so I was losing a revenue stream. So they came to me and wanted to use QuickBooks for write-up. My problem was all my history and custom reports were still in Creative Solutions. It was linked to my website. I had a portal. I had clients in Venezuela. I mean, everything was cooking right along. And QuickBooks report writer couldn't deal with department reports and etc. So I got this bright idea that if I could import one journal entry for the activity for the month into Creative Solutions from QuickBooks, instantly I have the within seconds I could have financial statements. And so I hired a local programmer, and this was when SDK first came out, and it was very simple to use. I loved it, and then I got this bright idea that I would make a shopping cart and put it up on the internet, and every once in a while I'd sell one and we'd go to lunch. So that worked out beautifully until about, when did they change the QuickBooks database? It was like 2009, I think, was a rewrite, and I started having trouble and support calls, and Windows wasn't working, and more people wanted it on terminal servers. And so I had to decide whether to scrap it or rewrite it. So I decided to rewrite it and add all these features that people have been asking for. So I wanted a one-screen program, very simply, that would export P&L class codes. Notice, not balance sheet. We tried for 6 months to do it for the balance sheet, but if QuickBooks can't do it, I can't do it. So the balance sheet accounts are straightforward, and the P&L accounts are broken out by class code. For example, if I have office supplies to 3 class codes, you're going to see office supplies listed 3 times with the 3 different allocated amounts. I wanted a net change in addition to as of. I wanted to export the numbers in their own column instead of embedded with the description or the name. I wanted the answers in one column. I also wanted a replacement table to pop up for the class codes. In my case, I needed to import it into a system where, say, the office supplies was 6060, and I had all my classes were my departments, and I like alpha classes, so I know what they are. So say all my locations were Chatham County, Jasper County, McIntosh County, but for accounting purposes, I needed department 10, 20, 30. So I also added a feature where it pops up the class code list, and you can just, it defaults to the same class codes, and take that, or you can replace the class codes. So some freedom there. It also saves this table so that you don't have to redo it every month. And then it will append the class code in front of or after the account number. Once all of this gets into Excel, you can just delete out the columns that you don't need. And the number one request that I had, which is my newest feature, is I found that TBX wasn't being used by auditors and CPAs so much as people who were leaving QuickBooks and upgrading to they had outgrown QuickBooks and were moving to a different system, and they needed their monthly journal entries to represent the history so they could do comparative reports. And instead of going in and asking for 12 trial balances, they wanted one spreadsheet with all the net change figures in 12 columns. So that's new. And this little flyer, I can put the alleys in the chat. This one-page PDF shows my whopping 2 screens, and I'll show you how this works in a second. It's basically 3 steps. As with all third-party add-on programs, you have to, the first time you use it, you have to log in as admin in single user mode and give it permission but once you do that, it doesn't have to be open. It can be in multi-user mode, and the very first time you use it, you have the QuickBooks file open in the background, and then test, and then answer a couple questions, and either export the regular trial balance or export the month-wise. And if you ask for class codes, a replacement table will show up to replace. So it's that simple. This is the sample of the report that I just showed you in QuickBooks 2013. As of would be, like I showed, as of, so the net change, if you look at a balance sheet, and of course we're accountants, so we understand how balance sheets work. See? Oh. All right. Probably a little too big. Okay, equity section. Net income for the year, $25,000. Net change for the year is also $25,000 for the P&L accounts. So if you had to cobble together these two reports, and I've found franchises have to report their monthly activity to their home offices, they were having to print a comparative balance sheet, print a P&L by class code or a P&L for the month, and then hand do Excel spreadsheets to report to their net change to the home office. So this report, here's a P&L by class. Sample data has new construction, remodel, overhead, and unclassified. I wanted to replace it with 10, 20, 30, 80, 888. So if I see design labor, I want to see design labor 2,400 for 10, design labor 1,000. You get the concept? Or so quiet? That's because it's seen this before.
Why would you use numbers instead of the?
It depends on where you want the data to be imported in the end. If you just need it for analytical purposes, you may just take the default. In this particular, this gives us an option. Say I had another home office or another system or an audit file where 40110 10 represents Department 10, or maybe a 10. It depends on how the general ledger is mapped.
So is it used to combine it with other data? And
Right.
oh, okay.
Right.
You just basically mapping it to that particular.
Exactly. So
okay.
The export file will put either that 10 either in front of the 40110 or after the 40110. It gives you some flexibility if you're importing into a new system.
Okay.
So there's my 25 screenshot. So I'll show you how to work. We can dive in and show it how it's worked. There's my replacement table. When you go into the replacement table, it'll have new construction, remodel, overhead, unclassified automatically here, but you can replace it. And did you know that your class codes can go 5 levels deep? I learned all kinds of things in writing this program. I found a client with 3,000 class codes, and
Wow.
clients will use every symbol known to man. One thing I've learned a lot of things about Excel. Seth will appreciate this. It exports in a comma delimited file, and the file would look fantastic. And a woman called and she said, every time I open up the file, I get scientific for this one account, and I can't get it to work. After screwing with it for 3 days, I determined that her account number ended with an E. So when you opened up the comma delimited file in Excel didn't know any better. It thought it was a formula. And it did, I don't know. So as long as she could either get rid of that E or not open it in Excel, she could get it to her home office, unpolluted. Because what she was doing, she'd open Excel and then she'd resave it as a comma delimited file and was sending that to the home office and wasn't working. So this PDF, I have this document as a PDF. I also have an Excel. It's on my website. I can show how the raw data lands in Excel, what it looks like after I widen the columns, and it gets really small, and what it looks like in 12 columns. So that's available on my website. So why don't we dive in? Okay, so I like to see my answers. I tell clients I never trust computers, so I want to know the results, make sure that I'm getting the results that I want. So if I do a real simple trial balance as of December 31st, I better see 27,000 for checking. So let me open my little trial balance program. Okay. Now, where'd you guys go? Oh, here we go. Okay. It's open the background, so I'll just say test connection. And they'll show you how fast this is. So you just make sure that the data's talking. I want a simple as of 12/31, what is that, 16? 16. This account status is the exact same account status that's available in QuickBooks. If you notice when you're working with reports, some reports will let you have these three options. All accounts will bring back every account in the chart, whether it had activity or not. Non-zero will only bring in chart of account or general ledgers with general ledger accounts that have an answer. And active is it'll bring back every chart of account, general ledger account that had activity, whether it answered or ended in a 0 or not. So if people are trying to do analytical work, sometimes they want all the rows to be the same, they'll say all accounts. So anyway, I like clean and simple. Say I have to give this to an auditor for year end. I want an as of. I just want a trial balance that has answers. Export. It's going to ask me where to save it. And I've been playing with TBX. I've been playing with trial balance exporter all morning. So, all right. So I'll say test and as of 31/16, it's defaulting to a comma delimited file, save. Boom. This little window says, do you want to peek at it in a text file, like a notepad? So we can peek at it. Pops up on my other monitor. That's a raw comma delimited file. And I want to, did I get the right date? Did I get the right answer? 36,000. Yeah. The first thing I do is go right to the bottom and make sure it's in balance. If it isn't in balance, we have corrupt data, guaranteed. I have yet to find that it's the program. So my program's really good for finding corrupt data.
You need to remarket it.
I know, that's what Tina said. So, all right, 36.
So what happens when the data is corrupt? I'm sorry, I missed. What happened when what results do you get when the data is corrupt? You get a non-zero?
Yeah, it'll just come in out of balance. Okay,
got it.
So if I get a support call, hey, your program doesn't work, it's out of balance, I just gained a client because I'm going to help them with their data
Corruption.
work. But part of the problem is I have to convince them it's them, not me. Did I do as of? Hold on, I'm being stupid.
I thought I saw it.
As of.
12/31/16, yeah.
Accrual. Oh, this is the one where I filtered the stupid. God, I was like, what do you mean it's not working? All classes. Please give me 36. Thank you. Okay. We have the right answer. All right. So open the program, test, answer a couple questions, hit enter. Boom. There it is. It looks good. Now I'm going to find the X. Okay. So go over to open it in Excel. I'll do this in my other monitor so I'm not just blasting out all my clients' stuff. Recent placements might be a good idea. Demo. Test. Okay. Here, let me get some of this off of here. Okay, that's the raw dump. Eerie looking. I work with TBX all day long, so out of habit, I just grab, make it so I can see it. Now you guys can't see it. I'll take the column and format it as a number, and because I don't trust it, I'll take the total, sum of, hit enter, I'm still getting a 0. That is a real simple as of trial balance that I'll say I'll give I'll top my financial statements to my tax accountants and to my auditors. So now let's do one with, all right, okay. Well, save it. Sure. Okay. Let's do another one. All right. So now let's do one with class code. So see how it copied new construction? So I can go 10, 20, 30, 888. That matches my PDF. And export. Test as of, let's do class test, hit enter, boom, peek at it. Go to the bottom, I'm a 0. See how, let's see, where's the income? Construction income design. There's my 2,400 and my 1,000. Out here, open it in Excel. Hello, Excel, where are you? There you go. I'll get faster. I'm practicing.
We'll get to try it again later.
Yeah, we get to try it again later. Everybody's going to get sick of my little utility. All right.
Oh, it's Miss Sarah's day.
Class test. Okay, there you go. All right. Here it is raw. Now, not everybody needs all these columns. For instance, it might be better to do this and then go small. Okay. I can't see what you see. Okay. Let me free some thing. There we go. And the description's way too wide. Okay. Account number, account name, account description. If you know QuickBooks, we call that the pretty name. No class code for the balance sheet accounts. Alias is the appending a class with the account number, which most people don't need. So here's my design income class 10 and 20 appended in before the amount or the general ledger account, and that's to 0. So what I'm finding is this if you wanted to say import this as a journal entry, I've got it in a format that can be used for upgrading to another system. People who like to do analytical work, It's already formatted, ready to go. I know that Seth has he's really fast in Excel. He has a way to break out account numbers. He has a way to do formulas and put everything in one column. But for somebody who doesn't know Excel, this is a very quick way to dump information into a comma delimited file. Someone asked last time, how does it know the report basis? It will look at the setup. If I go to File, Edit, Preferences, Reports and Graphs, Company Preferences, there's a default basis. That TBX comes here to determine which basis you need for the export. So let's do a net change real quick. Let's do export month-wise. Oh, net change only, sorry. I want a net change for 01/01/16, 12/31/16, month-wise. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I didn't do my steps. Test connection. Oh, what happened? Did I close QuickBooks? Yes. Oh, sorry.
No, actually, I'm glad that happened now so other people can see what to do.
That's true, because what you'll do is you'll see couldn't start QuickBooks. If somebody is logged in with a username that doesn't have secure sensitive reporting rights, it'll give them an error message. Hi, Bruce. I closed QuickBooks, so I have to.
And we all know how quick it is reopening QuickBooks.
I know. God.
It's immediate. Tomorrow.
Well, it's funny. I did. I had a POS, all new computers, all new POS, and all new upgrading to QuickBooks 2014 this week for a client. You talk about hell. But the machines hadn't, nobody had a chance to muck up the new workstations, and it was wickedly fast. I said, give them a couple months.
Muck up.
All right.
I like that.
All right. Let's see here. And trial balance. Test. Thank you. Net change. 01/01/16, 12/30. Whoops. User malfunction. 12/31/16. Sure. And see, it kept my table from last time. Now I could say I didn't want that. Copy, paste. Oops. Copy, paste. Copy, paste, paste. Okay. Month-wise. Well, month-wise. I can 10 key, I just can't type.
And so the export button is just for the single trial balance, and the export month-wise is your whole 12 months?
Right. So here it is in a text file. Looks really scary. And you also notice that it's pulling these numbers all the way out. Look how far.
Yikes.
3.42. All right, so we know we made it. Let's go open this puppy in Excel. Oh, month-wise. Here we go. Okay. Now, first thing I learned, I would go like this and then hit the, format the numbers. It would screw up this date field. It's exporting, what is this? 01/01/2016. That was something the programmer had to do. I don't know. So I will come down here. Only because I have to. I'm anal and I have to see it all perfectly.
Sarah, I really like the sound effects. I got to tell you.
You like that? Oh, yeah. Okay. So class code.
Did those sound effects come in the product?
Yeah. That's what you said. You watch the video later and you go, oh no.
TT's has sound effects.
So here, there's my $1,000. Well, here, let me lock my fields. Hold on. Let's see what we're doing. Okay. In January, my remodel was 1,000. There's my two income accounts. Split up by class code. That one's in August, 2,400 in August, 1,000 was in the month of January. This account, this column has the class code appended before the number. You'd never use that. There's your class code. This is the beginning of my P&L. I'm going to do this to test it. I'm going to come here, auto sum. There's my P&L account. That should be my poor P&L for the month of January. All the way across. How come when QuickBooks gives you sample data, the business isn't successful? Did you notice that? There's always big depressing losses.
Probably because they focus on expenses, not income.
There's my 25. So here's my as of trial balance for December 31st. Here's every single month. This column would be my journal entry of my activity for the month of January. I can display. Okay. My entire trial balance nets to 0. For every month. Just P&L accounts is my P&L. By class code. So, Seth, you're the analytical guy. What could you do with this?
Is Seth even here?
I'm here. Sorry, I'm muted because I don't want to disturb Sarah while she's presenting.
No sound effects? Okay.
What I would do with that, of course, is make a pivot table.
Of course you would, Seth.
Of course you would.
Because pivot tables are the answer to all of the world's problems.
Ah. Wow. That's
Right,
why
Dennis? Especially if you start to use Power Pivot, which I still haven't used. And every time I do a video on pivot tables, excuse me, somebody comes out and says, "Have you used Power Pivot?" And I'm like, "No." I say just like that, "No."
Go to Mr. Excel's website. He's got some videos on it.
No way, he's my competitor.
Yeah, don't tell that.
How about Excel is fun? Guy up in Seattle area, he's pretty smart.
Yeah, no, actually, Bill Jelen is Mr. Excel, right? That's him? Yeah. No, I've actually, I think we've tweeted with one another. And then there's another guy who I know well, who I haven't talked to in a long time, but I have his book, who's really good. Tom, I want to say, is his name. God, how can I forget this? Wait, hold on. Here it is. Yeah, I still keep it at close reach.
As he walks away from his computer.
Tom Atlas. Yeah, but look how close it was. Tom Atlas. And his book is called Don't Fear the Spreadsheet.
Ah. You know, I've been reading where people are saying Excel's on its way out, and, you know.
I can't even imagine that.
I can't even imagine. I mean,
there's too many programs. Yeah.
So it's a micro industry. It means, like, especially if you're an employee, a financial analyst, you know, that's where the kind of sweet spot is. If you're a data analyst or a financial analyst for a company and you're doing all sorts of projections and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Small businesses is pretty, you know, they're pretty simple spreadsheets.
Problem with Excel is it's made by Microsoft. Microsoft can kill anything.
Well, I've been kind of migrating towards Google Sheets, trying to use that more, and I like that.
Look who came to say hello.
Hello, Ralphie.
That would be Ralphie.
I bought Karen's trial balance Transaction Pro importer and exporter because it occurred to me if clients are using TBX to get history to go to another program, why couldn't we use the same idea to get history back into QuickBooks? So if I have a big ugly QuickBooks file that somebody wants to start a brand new QuickBooks file, but they don't want all the old transactions, but they still want to do all their comparative financial statements, what I would do is I would take, and that's what I was playing with this morning, depending on how many years history you want. Say in this case, I would enter the trial balance at 12/31/15. I would set up a temporary accounts payable and accounts receivable account.
Excel is fun channel here at YouTube. 2,000 Excel how-to videos.
Dennis!
Who's got 2,000 Excel videos?
Nah.
That's funny. I'm like, I'm confused.
That's a lot of video.
We have about 10 minutes left, and we had another topic. Does anybody have any questions for Sarah?
Yeah.
Sarah, we'll continue this conversation later today.
Okay, because then by that time I'll get in touch with Karen and figure out, because I want to demo how to get it back into QuickBooks.
Cool.
I want to take one of those trial balances and make a journal entry out of it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So we take old data, we export trial balances, we take a fresh data file, and we import just.
And the ideal time to do it is 1/1 whatever year.
So
Dennis, do you want to set us up?
Keyboard needs oil, man.
Pardon?
Your keyboard needs oil.
Oh,
Dennis, do you want to bring up the other topic for the day?
okay. I had related before the meeting that I had fired a client. I put the details in the chat, and it was something I've been thinking about in the back of my mind. I have the proverbial rank and yank list, where people that are candidates for being yanked because they don't fit with you anymore. He was kind of towards the top of the list, and it was kind of like the final straw. But I have a way of working, with online and portals, and he doesn't do online, and it's kind of like with Seth, where he wants to do videos and record videos and having to go to people's houses where, if people are nice, you'll put up with it for a while, but it really kind of goes outside your business model and causes a certain amount of stress. And so when things go south, it usually breaks the relationship.
Well, I don't think he was concerned about the right things. If he had come to you at a different time and had done some tax planning ahead of time, you might have had a different result.
Well, my guess is at the beginning of the year, they reset the W-4s, and my guess is it probably did something and he had like $2,000 with less withheld in tax, and he had, just on salary only about $5,000 more. So right there's a problem. Plus he had early distribution of an IRA, and he's less than 59.5, so that's another. He didn't have enough withheld on that, so it's like. And you try to explain it to him, he doesn't understand. So I figured it's not worth my time.
It all comes down to expectations, and I think a lot of times the clients, have unrealistic expectations, and they don't understand clearly what our job or role is. And so, of course, that's a two-way street. We have to make sure that we explain, what we do, and sometimes more importantly, what we don't do. And we have to also.
Where an engagement letter comes in.
What?
That's where an engagement letter comes in, where it spells out clearly what you're doing and what they're required to do.
Right.
You're
and
not
I actually received.
Mine actually says what I'm not going to do for you.
I was just going to say that when I see that, when I see
wand is broken.
that says what somebody's not going to do, that always impresses me because it just makes it so clear.
It's called scope creep.
But you'll get that. I think a lot of the reason for my parting company with the client that I most recently parted company with was that there were different levels of expectations. I think the client expected on some levels that I'd be on call 24/7, even though I'm a consultant, which means we arrange for one day a week when I'm going to show up at your place of work and do the job. And yes, of course, I'll provide a reasonable amount of support on an ongoing basis, but I can't tell you how many times I got, emails, and then less than 24 hours later, follow-up emails wondering why I hadn't followed up yet.
Mm.
Yeah, we had the same thing. We had a client that we started who said all the right things. I've now learned, even though the client said, "Oh, we trust you." Well, no, he didn't trust because he didn't trust anyone. But no, he would call and we made it clear, look, it's accounting. There's not accounting emergencies. We'll make sure payroll happens on time. And he would, and invariably, send an email at like 4:30 in the afternoon, and then IM, and then text us, and then call our lines again from 5 to 8 p.m. on a Friday evening. And we just realized that it was just the wrong attitude, and we fired him as quickly as we could because he didn't appreciate the value we were delivering. What he wanted was somebody to be at his beck and call, and once we caught on, we were like, and it was tough. But then we really focus on having, since we don't do the tax, all the accounting, we've got a really clear termination document that that we've now used twice. One for a client that we knew would eventually have tried to sue us or whatever else, and that first one, and then another one who I fired and keeps trying to come back.
Yeah,
we fired him because he couldn't get us the information we need. We couldn't deliver and finish cleaning up his books for last year because he never got us the information we've asked for in a nice, clear, organized way. And we finally said, this just isn't going to work. If you can't interact with us and respond to us and meet these basic requirements of this relationship, it's not going to work. And I have a feeling he'll come back in another month when he finally gets all of his documents organized.
It's funny. I have a CPA that I work closely with, and I've worked with him for many years. And a number of years back, I actually worked out of his office a certain amount of time, going out with one of his business cards as a representative of his firm. And during that time, he was very sort of lenient with his clients about, when they paid and how much they owed. And he had a lot of clients with huge balances. And what he would do, and I think because he was so lenient about it, he had no qualms eventually about taking him to small claims court. And what he would do is he would accumulate like 4 or 5 sort of cases, and he'd take them all to small claims court in the same day. And what shocked me was how many people, even after being taken to small claims court and losing the case, of course, because they legitimately owed him the money, would still continue to work with him. They still wanted him to do their stuff. And I mean, this guy is like a saint. Because he's still, he doesn't, like, if it were me, I would be like, okay, you want to continue working with me after I've had to take you to small claims court? I want a $10,000 retainer before I even pick up the phone to talk to you.
He needs to talk to Meredith Wood, Funding Gates.
Yeah. But he doesn't worry about it. It's just, he's since sold his practice to a much bigger CPA firm, but it was just so funny to me that I would think that if somebody took me to small claims court, if they had to go to that length, usually what you would think it was because I disputed the amount or something, and I certainly wouldn't be happy enough about it to want to continue working with that. But I think there are just people out there who they don't think, like, sort of, I don't know, for lack of a better way to put it, normally, like normal people, and they think that it's probably just a normal part of doing business. Oh, I'll pay when I have no choice but to pay because I've now got a court order to pay.
And therein lies the problem, accepting that person as a client. Because they don't pay. They don't pay you, they don't pay anyone.
Yep.
Lots of people are going to have problems with them.
I mean, I got so tired of the time I was spending chasing people to pay me what they owed me. And of course, it's always, you notice, it's always the same people who come to you at the last minute and want it done right away who are the worst about paying. I find that so ironic because they want the work done right away, but then when it comes time to pay, they want to take their time. I love clients like that. So that's why I flipped my whole model around, and now if people want my time, they go on my website and they pay first, because I just don't want to chase people for money. I want to spend my time providing the service they've hired me for. I don't want to spend time in collections. It's a waste of my time.
Absolutely.
So, and going back to, Dennis's original question that he raised before we went live was, at what point do you decide it's time to part company with that client? And I think the answer is, we also said it at the beginning, is it's in your gut. You have to make that decision based on when your gut kind of tells you, you know what. And the bottom line is, when the pain of dealing with them exceeds any benefits, that's typically when you'll reach that point where your gut will tell you, it's time to move on.
Game's not worth the candle.
I've fired clients instantly if they're. I've had clients in the past that were just kind and wonderful with me, but then treat my staff lack of respect. And man, I don't care. I fired a huge client that came in and got one of my girls in tears one day. That was.
I don't tolerate that. You're going to yell at someone, you better yell at me.
We work, this is such a huge part of our lives, is coming to work. And if you're dreading coming to work, and I've had clients where the work will come in and everybody will look at each other and go, who wants to do it this week, when you sort of go, oh, so-and-so's here, I've learned. That's all. So, after all these years, my client base is so lovely. So lovely. And there's a level of respect on both sides. If you don't respect me and my advice and my time, you're not a client.
Yeah, when I know we've all had this experience, that when you either get the email or the phone call and it's from that client and you start cringing like, oh God, what do they want? Mm-hmm. Like you dread the moment of having to actually talk to them or deal with them. That's when I have one client left like this, but for some reason, no matter what I do, this client just won't go away. Yeah, I've told her in very direct terms, I don't want to work with you anymore. We don't work well together. I've said that very specifically and directly, and the comment is, oh, well, this isn't fair. I've invested way too much time and money in with you. I can't start with somebody new now. And I as much as say that's, I'm very sorry about that, but then you're going to need to learn how to, because this is one of these clients that's always last minute. I need this right now. Can you look at this today? Like no respect for the fact that I have a schedule and other clients, and it's always. It happened just this week. I got an email with a question about something. I hadn't gotten back to it yet. Got a follow-up email the next day. Hey, can you look at this today because we really need this?
Well, I can for an extra fee.
Well, this is a client where I have basically, at one point I was doing a lot of work with them such that I put them on billing terms, because I'll do that with somebody that I've been working with for a while, and I had to flip it back the other way and tell the client, you know what, until you've settled your balance with me and paid up front, I'm not looking at your stuff. First of all, I don't want to. Secondly, I have other people and projects I'd much rather be spending my time on. And I have no shortage of those. So I'm in a position where I have that luxury of being able to pick and choose what I want to work on. And I hope that every consultant gets to that point and quickly, and I think you'll get there faster by turning away the clients, regardless of how much you're losing in fees. If you turn away the clients that kind of make your life difficult, then it'll leave room for the ones that are a pleasure to work with. And those are the clients I want. I want the clients who are a pleasure to work with. I honestly don't care that much about the money. I care much more about enjoying the experience of working with somebody and feeling like I can really help them because they're cooperative and respectful and all of those things that we look for in our clients.
The pumpkin plan, exactly.
Amen.
So that's my rant for the day on tough clients. Everybody tune in for Gina's Hangout. We'll continue with Sarah's trial balance exporter there. 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then. Say goodbye to Ralphie.
Absolutely. Great demo, Sarah. Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye.